The LaSalle School of Business has a new home, and we will give you a tour along with a look at the grand opening ceremony. Hello, I'm Steve Graham.
And I'm Madison Elliott. The Philadelphia Auto Show is returned to the Convention Center once again. And later, Corey Meredith sits down with a LaSalle student looking for a big change here on campus. We have all this and more coming up on LTV News, where the action never stops.
Welcome back to the spring semester of LTV News, where we bring you everything from 20th and Olney Avenue, Philadelphia, and the world.
There's a lot to catch up on in the next half hour as Corey Meredith sits down with LaSalle student Nicholas Lario to discuss the possibility of gender-neutral housing here at LaSalle. So let's start with the buzz around campus.
It is now safe to say the movie Back to the Future was actually filmed about 30 years ahead of its time. One of the many futuristic predictions portrayed in the 1985 blockbuster came true this past October. The hoverboard, the newest and coolest thing on two wheels to hit LaSalle's campus yet. This motorized skateboard has been seen all around LaSalle, up until recently, however. According to Vice President of Student Affairs, on January 13, 2016, the university officially banned the hoverboards. The boards are prohibited from being possessed, ridden, stored, and even charged on campus. The university has plans to study the issue more and put out a permanent policy before June 2016.
In November of 2013, LaSalle University announced its plans to construct a new school of business at the Worcester and Chute intersection. The state-of-the-art building would tower over LaSalle's campus by January 2016. The day finally arrived on Tuesday, January 26, as the LaSalle community gathered to celebrate the grand opening. President Colleen Hanich, Dean of the Business School Gary Giamartino, and Student Government President Beckett Woodworth spoke at the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Alumni, current students, faculty, and architects of the new facility gathered to mark this historical event. The six-story, 87,000 square foot building features some of the most technologically innovative classrooms in the U.S., according to Dr. Giamartino. In line with the Catholic LaSallian tradition, Father Richard Gross blessed each floor of the building. The new home for the School of Business marks a milestone in the history of the university.
After the ceremony, LTV News got to take a tour of the brand new facility. Check it out.
Hello, this is Madison Elliott reporting for LTV News, and I'm here in the new business building at LaSalle University, one of the most technologically advanced buildings in the country to date. We are in the new executive boardroom where the president and the board of trustees will be set to meet. And as you can see, there's a skyline of the city and of the neighborhood here of Olney. We're going to go explore the building and check out everything that it has. As you walk into the main atrium, you can see how open it is with big glass windows everywhere, including big glass windows in the classrooms and the offices so you can peer in. Mary Sheila McDonald, the Associate Dean of the School of Business, who also chaired the Strategic Planning Committee for the building, said this was intentional because they were making a building fit for LaSallians.
It's jarring when you compare it to what we had in College Hall. So people would think, why would we do that? But actually, if you go into corporate America, into Google, or even we have students who intern down at PricewaterhouseCoopers, many conference rooms and offices have glasses. You know, this is an important thing in actually business. Some of the scandals of the past decades were because some, unfortunately, wrongdoers, unethical people, hid things. So this idea of transparency in business, in financial documents, and in messages. Of course, there's always going to be some things in a school or in a business that have to be kept private for a while, but this idea that not a lot should be kept private, okay? So the idea that we want people to see the great activity that's going on in the classes, and we've noticed that the students and the professors don't seem too distracted. You do have to reorient yourself, but it's really kind of invigorating to see that happening. So that was very intentional, but it is a game changer and it is different. But it's what's being done in other organizations around the country, around the world.
The new business building is considered one of the most significant projects in university history, costing $35 million. It is also meant to foster innovative group learning with technologically advanced classrooms that allow you to phone in professors from all over the world.
Well, every classroom, of course, is wireless, but there are also cameras in every classroom so that if a professor wanted to beam in, say, a guest speaker, an alumni from Hong Kong during his or her class, that can be done. And we can also, if a professor was teaching and there was also maybe a group of students that were, particularly like say in an MBA course and it was partially hybrid, the whole class could be recorded, the interaction with the professor and the students, so that we could do, we could beam that to someone else. So the idea that there are cameras everywhere, that state-of-the-art technology, we can bring speakers in virtually is really exciting.
It is a very vibrant learning community, complete with study rooms, classes ranging from large to small, a cafe, and a lot of light, making it a cheerful place that Associate Dean McDonald says is for everyone, not just business majors.
We invite everyone from the campus community to come visit us in the School of Business. It is very important for me to let everyone know that this building is not just for business students or business faculty, it is for everyone. So whatever your major, you're welcome to come here. We have a little cafe on the atrium floor. We have lots of comfy furniture throughout the 6 floors. And we want students from all majors to come and hang out here and become part of this really great new facility that's for all of us to share.
What do you think of the new business building, Steve? It's quite beautiful inside. Have you gotten a chance to check it out yet?
I'm not going to lie to you, I have not. I have not found a reason, pretty much because I live in the building we're in right now.
Makes
but
sense.
yeah, it looks like I have to check it out.
Yeah, the first time I was there was just this week, and it was beautiful. Just so many windows and light. It was pretty incredible. But one thing I was wondering was what's going to happen to College Hall, which is the old business building. And Professor McDonald was telling me that they are going to move some of President Hansch's offices there and repurpose it for something new, but we just don't know what that is yet. So
yeah, a centralized location for the president would be nice here.
It would be awesome. Well, the first of the month of 2016 ended on a historic note. Winter Storm Jonas slammed the northeastern region of the U.S. with record snowfall. I bundled up and took on the extreme conditions to get a glimpse of the storm's impact here on campus. Take a look.
This is Madison Elliott for LTV News, and I'm in the middle of the Snowmageddon, Snowstorm Jonas, and it is crazy out here. As you can see, if I come over to the snow, oh, my knees are, I'm covered to the knees up. It's crazy out here. And the cars are covered. The guys are out working, trying to clean it up. It's a little hectic out here, so we're going to bring you full coverage of what might be the biggest snowstorm in 20 years.
Snowstorm Jonas marked the largest snowstorm on record for several locations on the East Coast. One of the last big storms we had was the blizzard of 1996, but even that didn't measure up to Jonas. Here in Philadelphia, the snow measured 19.4 inches, the highest ever recorded, surpassing an 81-year-old record of 11.9 inches from 1935. LaSalle had their crew working around the clock to ensure that campus would be accessible for students. Some LaSallians still ventured out on this snowy day, but parts of campus remained open, such as the IBC Fitness Center and even Treetops, which usually closes on weekends. The crew worked hard so students could still get around campus. And while Snowmageddon was a record breaker, that didn't stop students from having some fun. We caught footage of students sledding down the hills at South Campus. We don't know when the next big snowstorm is going to hit, but maybe it will be another 81 years before it does. For LTV News, I'm Madison Elliott.
Now, before we move on to Philadelphia news, Nick Lario joined Corey Meredith here in the studio to explore the idea of gender-neutral housing at a Catholic university. Let's hear from the young man behind the controversial idea.
Hello, I'm Corey Meredith, and today we're sitting down with Nick Lario. Thank you so much for coming today, Nick. So I hear that you sparked this new idea of making the LaSalle townhouses a co-ed environment. So I'm just curious, how did you come up with this idea? What sparked your interest?
Well, I'm an RA in Basels, and I first mentioned the idea to my RC, Daniel Cranning, and he said it's a really good idea, and if you really wanted to push through with it, start talking to the heads of community development and see where it goes, and that's what I did, and it kind of started building up momentum on its own.
So you think that being an RA really helped you kind of make the university more aware of it? Because, you know, some ideas, they just are ideas and then they never go anywhere from there, but this is kind of taken off.
I definitely think that it helped me know who to tell. I think that it started me off in the right step.
Yeah. So how did you make other students aware of your idea too?
That definitely goes to SGA. Beckett Woodworth and Joseph Rogers definitely took it into their hands to spread the word and put it up as the referendum up on the portal. So they definitely helped carry it through.
So students are access to a voting pool, am I correct?
Yes.
I would like to say that I did vote, but I'm not going to tell you what I voted for until after the show, maybe, if you're lucky. So is the voting pool just for students, or is it for faculty members as well? Like, does everyone have an input in this?
It is only students that are able to vote.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that. So will the vote solely determine the outcome of this? Say the students are 100% for it, but the university might be a little hesitant, or does the university have some sort of say in it too? Like, how does the vote work in with the university's input as well?
The vote itself doesn't really do anything. It just gives you an idea of what the student's opinion is, and then you can use that as momentum with the board of trustees or the president of the school itself to say, this population of students like this idea.
Have you talked to any of these board of trustee members or Dr. Hainich or anyone of higher access that might be able to help with this decision-making process?
I have not. As of now, the highest I've talked to is Alan Wendell, head of community development, and hopefully after I get the numbers back, that would be the next step.
That's really awesome. So how have people reacted to this idea thus far? Because I know that it's a new idea, you know, even in the dorm buildings, they're gender-neutral floors for the most part with communal bathrooms. I know Basil's is a different situation because it's a quad, so you have one bathroom per, room for 4 students. But the townhouses, they're obviously living quarters. So how have students reacted to this idea that you came up with?
I've certainly gotten in the majority a positive response. There's of course some negatives, but it's actually interesting you mentioned Basel because that's one of my main points is that I'm a RA for the double section of Basel. So I have men and women living side by side using separate bathrooms, which is my exact stance on what the townhouses should be.
And can you go into more detail about that?
Well, with the bathrooms being separate and the double inside the townhouses being one gender, it would be set up with the exact same thing as Basil's with locked doors separating boys and girls and the bathrooms being separate. So in that way, it would be no different than what already exists at LaSalle.
Yeah. So going back to the voting pools a little bit, can you see how many people voted, or can you see, what the outcome, like who's in the lead, who's winning this voting pool, I guess you can put it as? Can you see anything, get any information from that at all?
As curious as I am, I'm currently in the dark on that. I really wish I could know.
Completely in the dark,
Yep,
even though how did you even make the pool?
That's, again, SGA. I went to SGA and they said we're just starting this whole referendum thing and this would be a great first topic to start off with. And it just carried through. It was perfect timing for everybody.
Yeah, it really is. And the voting pool closes this Friday, right, the February 5th?
Yes, it does. Yep.
So then, how long do you think it's going to take to kind of come out with the results and see how this will take off in the future?
I'm hoping it's going to be a pretty immediate response with what I get when I get information for the votes back. Like, I'm hoping I can take right after that, like maybe the following Monday, start talking to people with what I got back.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that it's a quick thing. So being a Catholic institution that LaSalle is, and having it based off of Christian brother morals, and being raised on this foundation of religion and trust, and all this ideas of being separate but equal in a way. How do you think that this idea of co-ed? Do you think that it goes against any of these morals?
This is actually one of the biggest oppositions against my proposal at the moment, and I think that it doesn't give LaSalle students enough respect to assume the worst of them just to be in close quarters proximity to women. I think this relationship of men living next to each other with women in the same house, I think this promotes healthy relationships between men and women, lets them work and live side by side to be able to have more respect for each other, to, if anything, promote these LaSallian values in these students.
So almost as like a preparation for the real world.
Exactly, where they have to be able to work side by side and not this feeling of there's a barrier between genders.
Although, do you think college itself would get in the way of living side by side with the opposite gender, like with just stress of anxiety of classes or outside activities? Do you think that any of this could have built up tension possibly?
I think it can only improve. I think this is tailored towards people who fit better together. When girls' best friends are guys and guys' best friends are girls, these let you live with the best roommates possible. So I think if anything, it's going to make everything run more smooth.
Okay, so kind of lastly, LaSalle is pretty strict on room changes. I know it's very difficult to have a room change unless you have like a really totally awful experience with your roommate, but even then, room changes are almost nearly impossible. So say that you're rooming with your boyfriend or girlfriend or, you know, whatever, your significant other, and there's a breakup involved. There's some serious issues going on. How would the co-ed townhouses, how would that affect it? Because room changes are hard as they are now.
I personally have not seen the difficulty of room changes, but I would say that this is by far not tailored towards relationships. We would recommend this from the farthest end. I do not think this is a good idea for relationships. I think this is more of the perfect roommates for each other, not relationships. So
based off of friendships, more
exactly,
say.
well, exactly that, just so they can live with their best housemates possible.
I think that's a good way to look at it, although I think that students might push the barrier on that one a little bit, but I mean, do you even know how the room process change works, being an RA?
It would be, they would just recommend in the community development asking that they be switched rooms, and if there's open rooms available, and if the situation is seen to be not be like mendable, then they would probably try to find another room for that person.
And then the person coming in, would that be like an anonymous roommate?
Well, it would be, if the rest of the house is one gender, then it would be that gender coming in. Or if, say, it's one guy friends with 3 girls, if the girls feel more comfortable with the 4th being a girl, it will be a girl. It will not be a forced gender situation.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for going over all of this. I think it's a tremendous idea. It's very new, and I wish you the best of luck with it, and I hope that it's a speedy process. So thank you guys for tuning in, and back to Stephen Madison at the desk.
Well, it's time for our first commercial break, but when we come back, a new LTV News reporter has a story parked in the city's convention center. Stay tuned. That was awesome. I'm really proud of it. Park.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Welcome back to LTV News. Philadelphia fanatics can now download an emoji keyboard app loaded with more than 60 emojis, gifs, and videos representing the city of brotherly love. A winking Liberty Bell, a bird's eye view of the William Penn statue atop City Hall, cheesesteaks, and more can all be found in the keyboard settings. These emojis work in text messaging, emails, and even Facebook Messenger. Download the iconic keyboard today in the Google Play and the Apple App stores.
There is a new reporter making her debut in the studio today. Callie, Montana, what is going on?
That's right. I am here to call your attention to all motorheads. And no, I am not talking about the band. I am talking about all you crazy car fanatics out there. Are you looking to check out some of the most reckless rides in the area? Well, look no further, because the Philadelphia Auto Show is back. Located at the Pennsylvania Convention Center from January 13th to February 7th. The show displays 700 cars in 9 days, accompanied by numerous attractions such as the Dub Show, where you can take a look at some of the customized rides rolling around the city, to the Garage, where you can stop in and grab some grub. I brought a camera to show off this incredible event. Take a look. On Saturday, tons of people crowded into the Philadelphia Convention Center for the Auto Show to see over 700 cars. There was something for everyone, no matter the age. There were vintage cars, new cars, and even rare ones. You name it, they have it. They even had Bon Jovi's Viper that people could not get enough of. In addition to that, there was a 1990s ETV space car that people crowded around snapping pictures of. And to top it all off, the Pope even made a surprise appearance. He was there and showed off his black Fiat. Now, the fun did not stop there. Not only was it a time to look at cars and play around with all the cool features, they also had activities as well. People were able to get on the road and take some cars out for a test drive. Dodge even had a Viper simulator that made it feel that you were actually behind the wheel of the car. Kids and adults could not get enough of this. Jeep even had an indoor ride and drive which had a line wrapped around the area. People wanted to get the full experience of how a Jeep really drives in different situations. In addition, Jeep even had a section where little kids can get in the fun and drive around little Jeep cars. Last but not least, there was shops to buy souvenirs so the car lovers can take something home to remember all the fun they had. The auto show was a huge success and tons of fun, which ended up leaving smiles on everyone's face.
Well, that concludes our news from the City of Brotherly Love. After a short commercial break, we will be back to check in on the news around the world. Stay tuned.
Oops. Uh-oh.
Get on top of it before they do. Every 24 minutes, tipped furniture or a falling TV sends an injured child to the emergency room. Preventing tip-over incidents is easy, inexpensive, and only takes 5 minutes. Learn how to secure your furniture and TVs to protect children at anchorit.gov.
It was a dream come true in Iowa State for Senator Ted Cruz. Monday night, the first votes were casted in the 2016 presidential election. Senator Ted Cruz won the Republican caucus with 28% of the vote. Businessman Donald Trump finished in second with 24%. Rounding out the top three Republican candidates, Marco Rubio crossed the finish line in third with 23% of the vote. The caucus set a record for the voter turnout, smashing previous elections. For the Democrats, it was a nervous night on the farm. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton won a narrow victory over Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Hillary collected 49.9% of the vote compared to the senator's 49.6%. Iowa, however, was not a happy place for all. On Monday, several dreams also came to an end when former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley withdrew his name from the race after collecting roughly 1% of the vote. 2008 caucus winner and former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee also withdrew his name from his party's nomination. The candidates now travel to New Hampshire for the next state primary on February 9th.
Walmart has recently announced that they will be closing their doors at 269 locations, 154 of them being in the United States. The majority of the closings are smaller express stores that were introduced to Walmart's market in 2011. Walmart claims that the reason for so many closures is to sharpen their focus on supercenters and e-commerce business. The closing stores are offering 75% off, including particular items such as smartphones, firearms, and prescriptions. With over 100 stores closing, many are wondering how this will affect the United States unemployment rate. No Walmart locations in the state of Pennsylvania are closing.
While some astronomy lovers still argue over the acknowledgement of Pluto as a planet, researchers at the California Institute of Technology may have found its replacement in our solar system. New evidence claims an object has been found in the outer solar system that, quote, has a mass about 10 times that of Earth, end quote. Researchers have now nicknamed the object Planet 9. The Caltech scientists discovered Planet 9 through mathematical modeling and computer simulations, but have not yet observed the object directly. However, researchers claim there will be no debate on the object's planet title because of its massive size.
Smartphones continue to dominate the cellular marketplace, which means more and more apps to keep our eyes on. On the Apple App Store right now, the top paid application is Face Swap Live by Land Labs. At just 99 cents, FSL allows people to switch faces with friends, celebrities, and photos in real-time video. For those not willing to spend money on apps, the top free app on the market is Color Switch. Color Switch is a simple game in which users must carefully maneuver a small ball through obstacles in order to change colors and achieve power-ups. Other apps to keep an eye out for and download this coming year include language learning software such as Duolingo and the ever-popular party game Heads Up.
Well, Madison, have you tried any of those apps?
Yes, actually, Duolingo, before I studied abroad, I downloaded that to practice my Spanish, and it helped me, it quizzed me on some of the vocab words and actually helped me when I was over there, so.
Wow.
Yeah, Duolingo, good one to have. And just today I saw WhatsApp is like one of the most downloaded apps right now.
Well, I'm going to be honest, I haven't tried either of those, but Trivia Crack Kingdoms right now is the move.
I have not started using that yet. I'm afraid to start those games. I feel like I'll just get too addicted to them and not be able to put it down.
Both it challenges you, it's a game, but you also learn a lot as well, because if you don't get the answer right, well, it's like, the more you know.
The more you know, that's true.
Well, that just about does it for this episode, but be sure to find us on the web as well as the rest of LaSalle TV on facebook.com/LaSalle TV. You can even tweet at us, LaSalle TV Philly, or email us your thoughts at lasalletv@lasalle.edu.
If you missed the scoop and want to see it, you can find new episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/LaSalle56TV. And you can now follow our new Instagram account at LaSalle TV. Until next time, for Corey, Steve, and the entire crew, I'm Madison Elliott. Thanks for watching LTV News, where the action never stops.